I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have felt like we needed a boost or something throughout the day, like coffee or an energy drink. And I'm sure after we drink it, we could feel the power that it has, all the caffeine and the chemicals that it gives us. Imagine the boost that it gives someone that's young, someone that's a teen or a kid. If it gives us that powerful of a boost, a teen or a kid that drinks 2 or 3 cans of an energy drink a day, it can have a powerful effect. I find it unacceptable that such powerful drinks with high doses of caffeine and other chemicals are so easily accessible to minors. Today, I will speak to you about some ingredients in the drinks, what the effects are, and how we can keep kids safe from these drinks. Ingredients in these drinks vary from product to product, but there are several ingredients that many of them have in common. The first is caffeine. Caffeine is a stimulant that it wards off drowsiness and makes you feel more alert, as we all may know from coffee, and we're college students, so we know. And it's no secret that caffeine is also present in most soft drinks, but we're not entirely sure how much is present in coffee or soft drinks. According to the Huffington Post, the average cup of coffee contains anything from 95 milligrams to 200 milligrams of caffeine, and a can of Coke contains 30 to 35 milligrams of caffeine. According to CNN, in energy drinks, the amounts of caffeine can vary, but in a 16-ounce can of Red Bull is 154 milligrams, and a can of Wired X505, which is another energy drink, contains 505 milligrams of caffeine. Comparing that to how much caffeine is in a coffee or a Coke, that's like 5 times the amount. And another ingredient is ginseng. Ginseng is a plant extract that is said to improve athletic performance and give energy. It's much like caffeine, and most energy drinks contain both of them. According to the American Cancer Association, ginseng has some undesirable side effects and often causes insomnia in most people. And combining ginseng and caffeine together in one drink just heightens both of the side effects. Other ingredients in these drinks are B vitamins and acids like taurine. These vitamins and acids are found in our body naturally. They're what our body produces, what we get from our daily food intake. And although there are benefits to both of these, to both the B vitamins and the acids, our daily diet, we usually get all our vitamins from what we eat, the B vitamins. So with the energy drinks having the B vitamins in them, it's not really benefiting us very much because we already have absorbed them through our food. And the energy drinks make it seem like it's beneficial they're beneficial for us because they have these vitamins, but little do we know that most of the doses of the vitamins are very, very low, so they don't really matter when we drink the energy drink. The side effects from these ingredients may vary from person to person, but affect children and teens dramatically. When young people consume these drinks, they are ingesting too much caffeine for their body mass. According to Psychology Today, teens and kids should not consume more than 100 milligrams of caffeine a day. That's 3 to 4 times the amount that most energy drinks have in them. These amounts of caffeine often cause them to be hyper and hard to calm down. Other serious side effects include rise of blood pressure, increased heart rate, the jitters, and worst case scenario, cardiac arrhythmia. Cardiac arrhythmia is when your heart starts to beat irregularly, so it goes from beating very rapidly to slowly or back to normal, and heart arrhythmia leads to cardiac arrest in most cases. According to CSNBC News, after a 14-year-old girl consumed 2 Monster energy drinks within a 24-hour period, she went into cardiac arrest, and she went into a coma for 6 days and died on the 6th day. There have been many similar cases reported, and they have sparked controversy among the energy drink companies. According to New York Times, in 2011, there were 20,783 reported emergency room visits in which energy drinks were the causing or contributing factor to a health problem. Due to this, the FDA is investigating many deaths and hospitalizations of minors that are said to have been caused by the consumption of these energy drinks. Many people believe that the energy drink companies also market their product towards the younger people with their brightly colored packaging and the availability. Anyone can go and buy these caffeine-filled drinks. With the growing controversy and obvious health risks associated with the energy drinks, we have to find ways to keep minors from abusing them. By supporting the FDA's investigation of hospitalization and deaths associated with the energy drinks, we can help spread awareness about the issue. Some easier ways is to educate younger people on the health risks and the health risks of drinking these energy drinks, and also educate them on other ways to get energy. Like, most people don't eat breakfast in the morning. If you wake up in the morning and you have breakfast and you eat healthy, you're gonna feel better than if you wake up and you just have an energy drink. Now that everyone has been educated on what substances are in these energy drinks, what the risks are for minors to be consuming them, and what we can do to prevent minors from damaging their health, I hope that you will support and spread awareness about the damages in energy drinks.
Romy, what do you think?
As far as the presentation delivery goes, your voice projection is really good. You made adequate eye contact, I felt. But I feel like you read a bit much. I know most of the reading off your cards were for your sources, while you were citing certain quotes. But I feel like all the subsequent material and information based on those could have been just delivered without reading them. But saying that, I probably do the same thing up there. When it comes to your content, it was really good at bringing up all the ingredients, the guarine, the ginseng, caffeine, but I felt it was more on the informative side. As far as a motivation sequence, you raised a bit of a need, but there wasn't a lot of an action step. You did mention the FDA looking into and investigating a few things, but and you brought up the whole educating and bringing awareness to it. But I feel like you could have, like, out of your own imagination, what would you do in a perfect world? What would you do to try to eliminate as much caffeine and, like, claim a policy that we should, like, instill? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I agree with you on that solution issue a little bit. I think that she does suggest that you could eat better, and then you'd be less likely to need those particular issues. And maybe think of it from the perspective of parents of the kids, especially since this is an issue that you're focusing on, that it's mostly younger people that we're worried about. So what do we need to do to make sure that younger people don't feel a need to have caffeine? First of all, they need to eat more effectively. Like you said, have a good breakfast so that they aren't running into that lull in the middle of the day where they really feel that they need to pump in some sugar, caffeine, and ginseng to get through the next 4 hours to the end of school. Part of the problem is maybe that parents are not paying as much attention to the kids' nutrition as they should be, or they just assume that the kids will find something that to take care of their needs, and they don't worry about it. I gave them $3 or $5 for lunch, whatever it is, that's covered, and the next thing you know, the kid's buying 2 energy drinks for $5, and that's how they spent their lunch money. That how do we address that kind of issue? So I kind of understand what he's talking about there. I just think you could do a little bit more. You did something. I think you could probably do a little bit more, and you've got some more time to work on this too. So it's not like you're pressed for time. I'd agree with him on most of the presentation issues. I do think that your eye contact's a little inconsistent because you are reading a lot. What was interesting is sometimes it was clear that you were reading the transitions, and then when you got to the information, you looked up and talked to us about what the information was, and then so it's almost the inverse of what you're supposed to be doing. Go to the cards for the data, the quote, the statistic, and then the rest of the speech talk to us. It felt a little bit sometimes like you almost had that backwards, where you were looking down and reading all of the transition stuff, and then when you got to the numbers, the hard numbers, you actually talked to us a little bit. So you need to balance that a little bit. Organizationally, it was very easy to follow. I like the opening. I think you could get a little bit more out of the emotional element here. You've got one kid who's died. This girl who drank the 2 energy drinks. Give us a story about that person. Give us some details about the family, and talk about how devastated they were about those kinds of things. Then later on, you've got a number that says you've got 27,000 hospital admissions where energy drinks are associated with this. If you had the testimony of some kid who said, "I didn't realize I could go schizo, drinking too much energy drink, or that I was likely to give myself a heart attack because I had the Red Bull on top of everything else that I was eating." Something like that to maybe pull us in a little bit more emotionally. I think that would be helpful. I do think you need to build up a little bit more of an argument about caffeine and ginseng. Basically, what you've got is the heart arrhythmia thing that comes up later in the speech. Is that the only thing that's problematic with those ingredients? I think there's probably some more to it than that, and again, there might be some other issues about why when you talk about how it's being marketed to kids in particular. Well, don't be afraid of doing a little muckraking. Raking. A little bit of muckraking with pointing the finger at the Red Bull company or Rockstar and saying, "Look, think about those cans and how they're designed. They practically scream, 'Liquid candy, come and get some,' to little kids." And then of course they promote themselves on television or in the ads to make it look glamorous and exciting, and kids get used to that. They're developing habits about those sorts of things. I think you could get a little bit in. Do some finger pointing in this particular situation and build that up a little bit too. I think that would get our emotional juices going somewhat on this point. All right. Well, thank you very much.